Zuckerberg, he sold shares in Facebook for the first time in 2 years, offloading just shy of 200 million's worth. Big deal or no big
Yeah.
deal?
Yeah, well, insider stock purchases and sales are often considered a valuable signal for investors, as these individuals are presumed to have access to non public information that could affect the company's future stock price. However, the relationship between insider trading and then the subsequent stock price performance is actually very complex, and it's not always so straightforward. And there's been so many academic studies investigating the relationship between an insider like Zuckerberg buying or selling a share and then the subsequent performance. And we could spend an entire episode discussing those findings. But sticking to the question for once, I'm going to say this is no big deal. As of December 2023, now Zuckerberg's net worth is estimated to be about $115 billion by Forbes, making him the seventh richest person in the world. So if anyone thinks him taking 190 million off the
Mm.
table carries significance, they're wrong. Like, he and his wife Priscilla have vowed to donate 99% of all of their Meta shares to good causes during their lifetime, which you have to admire. And also, I love hearing that, because they need to do it in public so others follow their lead. But that's another discussion. So I think 190 million is as newsworthy as me donating, $10 to a charity. It's no big deal whatsoever, and it's a good question, but it's also worth just realizing how insignificant this is against the man's wealth.
I think the big deal was him actually not selling for 2 years. Have you looked at the stock
Yeah,
chart between
yeah,
November 21 and November 23? And
yeah,
it's almost a perfect curve.
yeah,
Like he clearly decided in his head, well, all these CEOs have some sort of selling plan because they're
yeah.
worth so much. Is more than 100 billion worth of Facebook shares. So he clearly decided, well, no, I'm not selling at that value because I feel like that's undervalued. And it didn't come back until it was basically at the same price. I think it was 340 in November of 21, and it's 320 yesterday, November
Yeah,
23. So I thought
yeah.
that was really impressive. And it looked just like, oh, well, I'll only sell my shares when I think they're of a fair value.
No, fair point. And when you look at these business leaders, the founding CEOs who are household names, generally they'll say and do things that the voting public will go against, like obviously Elon Musk being the extreme example, but like Zuckerberg renaming the business to Meta and pegging I presume, 20 or 30-year vision down to say, look, we're moving towards the metaverse and I'm going to get ahead of the curve. And the stock took that hammering that you described. And he stood steadfast, I suppose, and in his resolve. And now we've all accepted the business called Meta. I think most people have accepted the metaverse will creep in. It mightn't arrive this or next year. It definitely won't arrive this year in force. And he, again, through his inaction by not selling any shares, there was a signal, but it's almost an invisible signal. How can you,
Mm.
take something from something that didn't happen, but there is something in that, Mike.